is going to turn into. And then, as I had mentioned, during the month of February, we're going to be doing the outreach and campaign, getting the survey out to as many folks in the McKinley Park community as we possibly can. After that, we'll take that data that we receive, we'll break it down, and we'll understand what our population really looks like, what the reasons are as to why folks may not have internet connectivity, or whether they do and it's not affordable, and a lot of valuable demographic information on this. And we're going to hope to turn that into potential grants that our community group can receive from the state, from the city, and in order to do really a broad range of initiatives to increase internet affordability and access in McKinley Park. I've talked to a lot of folks who are working in cohorts throughout the state. This is a state-run program, and there are other community groups all across the state of Illinois doing this work right now along with us, one of which is the South Shore community, who's also involved with this grant through the city, through the state. And I've connected with some folks who have actually started up their own ISP, internet service provider companies. They've started up their own little businesses and such to distribute devices, to distribute internet access. And in some cases, they make this free of charge to folks who are renting in buildings, and they pass the cost over to landlords, and they make a service free of cost to the tenants. So there's a lot of ways we can explore this and implement it once we get this data back. But right now, what we're really focused on is getting this survey out to the community, which we plan to do next month. And you all will be hearing a lot more about what our goals are and what our plan is for getting that out to as much of the community as possible. So thanks, John, for letting me give you an update on that. And if there's any questions from you all here right now about this program, about what we're doing with it, feel free to ask.
Yeah, any questions for Anthony real quick? No? Okay. All right, I'm just gonna do a quick little primer on 35th Street. See if I can share my screen here. Let's share that. Can everybody see that?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. Everyone see this still?
Yes.
All right. Yes. So 35th Street is encompassed in this chapter 5 section of the plan. It's all about revitalizing commercial corridors. So just the current condition of 35th Street. There's a lot of heavy traffic on the road, not just on 35th Street, but across the whole neighborhood. But it really makes biking and walking really not desirable, and a lot of people feel unsafe doing it on 35th Street. Currently, there's some retail demand being met, but there's certainly a lot of empty storefronts or things that are underutilized along the section between Ashland Avenue and Hoyne Avenue, and that's gonna be the stretch we're primarily talking about tonight. And then those shops that are on 35th Street in that section, there's a lot of high turnover. This table here just kind of reiterates the unsafe or undesirable portion feeling on 35th Street. You see the total number of crashes, both on 35th Street, so Western Boulevard and 35th, Ashland Avenue is kind of across the whole neighborhood. But yeah, so there's a little bit of a pattern here. So some of the recommendations for improving or bettering 35th Street. So one of the thoughts was to make it a pedestrian street designation. So what that means is that it has pedestrian-oriented shopping districts. It makes it more walkable, more pedestrian-friendly. So it restricts things like curb cuts and driveways, truck traffic, things like that. Another way that is recommended is to activate the ground floor. So a lot of first floors will have retail spaces, whether they're restaurants or shopping or whatever, and then above that will be residential. And then things like beautification, so like murals and trees and benches and all kinds of stuff that can be done to help just kind of make it a more just an enjoyable place to be. You know, as you walk down or bike down it. So that was really it. That's all I really had for that. Are there any questions just on my quick little primer, and then we'll go right into discussion with Jaime and Allison.
And John, I didn't know, I wanted to explain, I don't want to interfere with your presentation.
No, go
but
right ahead.
the Alderman's office asked me to come here to update you guys on the 7-Eleven Starbucks plan on Western and Archer.
Okay.
Do you want me to hold that till you're done with this, which is whatever you want?
Yeah, let's hold that to the end. We've got a couple we've got a couple kind of general community things. We're going to focus on 35th Street, but we would love to hear the discussion or an update about the Western and Archer section too, because that's a valuable piece of our neighborhood too. So I appreciate you chiming in with that, Rolando.
Okay, no problem.
I do have a question specifically on this plan and trying to like the big picture. I learned from a guy called Nate Gunderson about backwards mapping, right?
Okay.
I see this. These are beautiful pictures. I want that. I want to walk down 35th Street, have a coffee, have this, meet all of my brothers and sisters in the neighborhood, have some fun. One thing is what do we need to do as our part of this organization? And then what are the mechanisms there? Do we have to do zoning? Do we have to get the business? You know what I mean? That kind of, and I don't know if we want to do that in this meeting, but you kind of I'm trying to get my head on where I can help and how big of a thing this is that we need to all work on, because it sounds like all of us are going to have to do different parts, right? If you're good with your business people, you're good. I might not be good at business people. I might polarize, right? Maybe I'm good with politics. Maybe I'm good with it. So I guess that's what I want to get your head on. And you don't have to explain everything, John, but just how does this look, or backwards mapping kind of an idea of what we need to get done to get like these beautiful things happening in our neighborhood?
So that's a really good question. So I don't know that there's one trigger, one keystone for it. I think it's going to be a lot of small moving parts. You know, one of the parts is going to be, you know, rezoning a lot of those things that were down zoned in the 90s. You know, I think it's called upzoning is when you bring it back up to, you know, commercial basis. So things like that. You know, if we could form a committee to do beautification, or, you know, work with the alderman's office to, you know, both bring in businesses, you know, encourage things like street signage or, you know, light posts. So it's a lot of small moving parts to this thing that's going to have to happen. Yeah. So that's my answer. Anybody else? All right. I want to introduce Alison Altmeier, who runs the Aquinas Literary Center on 35th Street in 35th and Wood, right? Yes. And then I also want to introduce Jaime Sotelo, right? He is he's the owner of Chili Toreto on 35th and Sealy. Both of them are here tonight to kind of help facilitate a sort of panel discussion, both questions from all of us about, you know, their current condition of the business environment, both from a restaurant and a non-restaurant perspective, but then also how things can be improved to you know, increase foot traffic to their business, you know, or just the general business environment along 35th Street. I will say that Liz will be translating for Jaime for us. So if I'm going to lead it off here with the first question, and I'll direct it to both of you guys, and maybe, you know, whoever wants to go first, and then we'll open up the floor here. So the first thing I kind of wanted to do to kind of find out was what attracted either of you to 35th Street. So Jaime, you want to go first? Maybe Liz?
Jaime, ¿entendiste la pregunta? ¿Para qué?
Puedes decírmela mejor en español para estar 100% seguro.
¿Por qué decidiste ubicarse en la calle 35 en McKinley Park?
Bueno, porque primero soy residente de McKinley Park por más de 20 años.
So first, I've been a resident of McKinley Park for 20 years.
Yeah, for more than 20 years, and basically, I think I was living in here because I think the area was really good. I was here for 21 and 22 years already, and I was very, very happy. I always walk in here because my daughter, she's taking a school right here, and I always think in my dreams, and one of my dreams, it was get like a restaurant here in the area because I was staying in the area and living in the area, and so happy to open the business here. I mean, for all the McKinley community.
Yeah.
Great. Allison, so I know you guys moved from.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna do it in English and Spanish because I was picking English a little bit, but some it's hard for me, but I was trying both English.
No, whatever's comfortable for you. That's great.
Está bien, somos bilingües.
Okay, well, no hablo mucho inglés, pero bueno, podemos hablar.
Está bien. Gracias de estar aquí.
Oh, gracias por la invitación a todos.
All right.
Thank you for the invitation.
Allison, so what was sort of the driving factor from moving you guys from OLGC on Hermitage to the current spot then?
Sure. So I'm Alison Altmeier. I'm the executive director of Aquinas Literacy Center, currently at 35th and Wood. We are proud to be celebrating our 25th anniversary in McKinley Park here in 2021. We serve English language learners, so adults in our community who want to advance in the English language. And we have a very small staff. We have volunteers. And so we started 25 years ago in response to the community need with the sisters who are living in the convent at Our Lady of Good Counsel. 4 years ago, we moved to 35th Street after the Archdiocese of Chicago did not renew our lease. And so we were kind of in a panic of where we would go. We studied our student population to see where they live, and they're in McKinley Park. And so we didn't want to leave the community. So we stayed, and our goal was really to find an open space. So we looked at a few spaces, and finally we found 1751 West 35th Street. One of our owners, I think, is on Eva. And we love being on 35th Street. We love, we're by the bus stop, we're by the school. It's just very convenient as far as people being able to walk by, walk in, and to learn more about us and what we're doing. And, we really kind of serve this like cultural divide here in McKinley Park, where we have an English speaking population and a non-English speaking population. So our students are speaking Spanish. We are serving the Chinese population, and we have a growing Algerian population as well. So that is kind of where we're at. We've liked being on 35th Street in our space because it's independent of the church. And so there's a lot of, people of different religions more comfortable coming to an independent space. We were just featured in Mayor Lightfoot's R77 newsletter. They highlighted one of the neighborhoods in McKinley Park, and they showed off Aquinas. We worked really hard, thankfully partnering in with the help of Sammy from the Alderman's office, and getting the SBIF grant. So we were able to really complete some huge renovations on the building, thankfully for our great owners. But Eva has been the catalyst really behind on beautifying our corner, with putting out planters. We fought to get a bike rack in front. We like that we're by the divvy. And so that's all been working out. And for us being on a main street, and that traffic has been very good for the neighborhood. So we're not tucked away.
Great. Okay. I'm going to open up the floor to anybody else if they've got questions. I've got a whole list here, so don't be shy. So we can certainly fill the time.
I'd like to know how we can do more of what you like about the area. So like, for example, I noticed that Allison pointed out a lot of things about transportation. Y Jaime, dices que el barrio es el sentido del barrio que te gusta. ¿Cómo podemos hacer más de las cosas bienes en el barrio.
Bueno, en realidad, tanto como me gusta el barrio, que quiero quedarme en el barrio quizás por siempre, pero uno de los, pues una de las razones más importantes a estar aquí ahora es la comunidad, que es definitivamente parte muy esencial, pues primero de nosotros y luego también pues el restaurante, ¿no? Ahora que tenemos el restaurante iniciando, yo creo que son partes bien importantes del restaurante. Creo que podemos hacer mucho con toda la comunidad, ya que yo soy de la comunidad o me siento que soy de la comunidad. Para hacer nuevamente la pregunta, ¿cuál es la pregunta?
Sí. So he's just saying it's like it's really important to be part of the community from the beginning. And entonces, la pregunta es how can we make of all the good things that we have in the neighborhood, how can we do more? You know, is it important, por ejemplo, es importante tener seances de la comunidad en tu restaurante o próxima a tu restaurante? Podemos involvamos to be involved with other groups in the area, involvamos con otros grupos aquí. Transportation, is that important? Etc. Like.
Well, yo creo que es importante. La pregunta realmente no la puedo escuchar muy bien, pero yo creo que es importante. Estoy teniendo un poquito de problema para escuchar. No sé si ustedes me están escuchando. Estoy un poquito con el problema para la pregunta, pero si la pregunta es ¿cómo traeríamos más gente a la comunidad?
Y traer más clientes, tener más como negocios en la calle ahí.
Bueno, yo creo que lo más importante para nosotros sería en este momento juntarnos con la comunidad, hacer parte de la comunidad y que la comunidad pues pudiese, no sé, en este momento de pandemia, ayudarnos a mí y a otros negocios dentro de la 35 a poder salir de esta situación en este momento. Creo que es importante quizás hacer cambios en el futuro con visiones pues a corto plazo, a largo plazo, no lo sé, todo depende de cómo vaya todo esto caminando, pero sí creo yo que para atraer más gente al barrio en este momento, no sé si la comunidad, los medios sociales, no sé si mucha gente nos conoce en este momento, pero yo creo que mi grande meta sería ver un día la 35, la calle 35, llena de negocios como cualquier otra avenida, con mucho tráfico de personas, con mucha gente. Las imágenes que pusieron al principio de los cafés, de los patios, de las bicicletas, yo creo que esa es una magnífica idea que haríamos todos juntos para poder traer más gente a la comunidad.
So what Jaime is saying is, well, so there's in the immediate term, or sort of immediately, the really important thing is to really help the businesses that are on 35th Street survive during the pandemic. It's a really hard time. And so just being able to make it is really important. And then in the long term, what would be helpful is to support more businesses opening on the street, so you can have real life there and you can have people coming, like the photos that John showed at the beginning, but really have sort of a lot of things going on that people can come to. But the first immediate thing really is for us to really understand how important it is to support our own local businesses during the pandemic, so they can even make it to the other side of this. Gracias, Jaime.
Nada.
If I can just add, and I already warned John about this, I think that there are major concerns on 35th Street that need to be addressed, that I feel like I go to every community and I talk a community meeting and discuss. The first one is the drug sales that go on day and night, 7 days a week, outside of 1754 West 35th Street, otherwise known as the Pretty and Naughty Lingerie Shop. That is nonstop. We have video. We've been working with the tactical team. The alderman's office knows I'm calling 911. It's not safe for our poor students. You know, we put in a lot of money in our building and investing for the future and developing a plan to grow in the future. And I don't know, I mean, we stare at that trash all day, unfortunately, because we put in brand new windows that are sparkly clean. Point number 2 is there are 2 brothels. One is at 1705 West 35th Street. The other one's at 1704 West 35th Street. They're somehow associated with one another. I don't know if that's sex trafficking. The one was shut down years ago. It is back in operation. It is still going on throughout the pandemic. And the other concern that was brought to me, because I'm friendly with the neighbors and people are in and out all day, pre-COVID, was the KK massage school that unfortunately is next to the Pretty and Naughty lingerie shop. They had talked about they wanted to expand. They're a state certified program to get your massage licensing. Their goal was really to expand to nails, but they can't have clinicals. So it kind of actually looks like this shady operation. But the reality is because of zoning, they can't have, you know, you can't go in and get your cheap massage and have a student work on you or get your nails done. And they informed me that the alderman's office wouldn't help them with the zoning. So I think those are some issues that we have some questionable businesses that nothing is being done about. There's no response from the police or the alderman's office. And then you have businesses, you know, very open complaining, saying that, you know, we wish we could do this. We want to expand. And again, there's no help and people don't have the resources to hire the attorneys. They don't know. These are immigrants who own these businesses to get attorneys and to how the city actually works. We're very blessed. I mean, our real estate attorney is Patrick Thompson, who's from the next ward over. You know, the pandemic's been hard to answer some of the questions in the chat. We did receive PPP back in April. We received state funding at a record high level this year. We had a large Giving Tuesday. We actually doubled what our goal was of $6,000. We're close to $12,000 to get our students iPads. So, you know, our nonprofit is thriving. We're doing virtual classes. We do, you know, in-person classes. We're doing everything we can to keep the community going. But in all honesty, I think COVID's been an excuse for our government officials and not moving forward. And to be honest, it's alarming that there's sex trafficking going on a block away and there's drug sales 7 days a week across the street. And is that enough for me to want to move if there's an option? Absolutely.
I got a question.
Mm-hmm.
When you guys talking about the zoning, what does that mean, the zoning? I know some points, but not whole thing. So what does the zoning mean? When you guys talking about the zoning, the far as what we understand, the zoning mean is when you stop the big traffic in those areas, 35th Street, the big truck.
So
What's the zoning mean?
So zoning means it pertains to what kind of business can be in the area. So, you know, where houses are, it's a residential zone. So only houses can be there. You know, your building is zoned to have a business in it. So is Allison's. So depending on the type of classification that the land can be, tells you what can be built there or what can go there. So like a home or a business or a manufacturing, like along 39th Street, it's zoned for manufacturing. So all those big buildings can, you know, people can, if they want to, you know, have a business in there and make things in there. That's what zoning is.
But some of it looks like it's residential. It looks like someone lives on the first floor of a store, and that's because of the zoning issues. I mean, for instance, the owner of the lingerie shop lives in the back, and apparently that's allowed. It's, you know, that's part of the issue, is that 35th Street, they've made it some of it residential, so you can't have a business. You can live there.
So it's one of the classifications.
Yes, of the building.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Okay.
that's something that
Was making sure.
I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I mean, it's one of the more classification. What is the zoning need? Correct?
Yeah.
Okay. That's as far as what we know, because I was making clear in that point.
Yeah. So that's one of the goals or one of the recommendations in the plan is to, on as those now residential spaces on 35th Street turn over, or buildings sell, or whatever the circumstances are, is that we would work with the alderman's office to bring those from they're probably an R something, R1, R2 or something like that, bring those back into being, I think it's C is commercial, like C1, 2, or whatever the classification. So those places can be what they used to be, a pizza place and an art studio, and whatever it's going to be, is to help bring that business traffic back. And I think that's one of the major hurdles is to bringing those back is because they legally can't do it.
Right. Thank you.
So, and then one of the other issues that people have talked about before is the truck traffic on 35th Street. The MPDC had started a discussion back in, I think, last March or February or something, like almost a year ago, with the alderman's office. And I think Liliana's on here, about changing the truck designation. So from a truck route on 35th Street. So now currently semis can go down 35th Street, and they certainly do. We think, and it's been recommended that be downgraded to only allow for automobile traffic, so cars and pickup trucks, let's say, to make it more walkable, and also to reduce the amount of truck traffic going down 35th Street, with the 2 and I believe a 3rd distribution center going up on Ashland Avenue with that building that's coming down. So yeah, I think there's at least 2, if not 3, that's going over there, which is going to be a lot of trucks that are going to try to take a shortcut through the neighborhood, which is not good for making it a pedestrian street or just walking by there in general. So I'm not sure if Liliana wants to talk to that really quick, or if we want to save that to the end there. I think she's on.
Yeah, I'm on, John. Hi,
Okay.
how are you?
Hi,
Hello,
there you
everyone.
are.
I'm also on with Juan and Samira from our office.
Okay.
In terms of the truck designation or that study, so we've requested that, and CDOT is working on it. It does take a study, but we share the concern in terms of the new businesses that are opening, of course. We hope to see that completed in about 2 to 3 weeks. So we'll come back out. We want CDOT to present their findings or the recommendations or whatnot. So we plan to have a meeting, of course, obviously through our office, and invite your membership as well. And then as far as the 35th Street Streetscape, I think you mentioned that our office, we've been in conversation as well. And in short, as the plan highlights, let me turn my phone off. So, we of course agree that 35th Street should most definitely be designed to accommodate pedestrian-oriented development. We want to see it live up to its potential, right? And we have the same expectations. It should be that, Main Street corridor with gathering spaces to socialize and work and whatnot and shop, right? So our office, has worked hard to try to revitalize 35th Street. And obviously we're encouraged, like everyone else, in terms of the recent redevelopment, the Literacy Center and the new restaurants that have opened. And then also, of course, that progress is due to all the work that the community has done as well. So we thank everyone for that. In terms of what we're doing now, so we're working with DPD to fund a streetscape project on 35th Street from Ashland to Archer via TIF, and we're hopeful that the funding is going to get approved so that we can begin discussing what that streetscape could look like. And then that's really it. Juan, am I missing something? We hope to have something very soon that's going to obviously be very encouraging. And it'll be great to get engaged and do charrettes and do some other design activities with the membership here. Juan, if I missed anything, go ahead and chime in, or if there are any questions, I'm happy to take them.
I think Juan is muted.
Oh. He always has an audio issue. Maybe you can call in, Juan.
All right. Well, maybe we can share. Maybe we can share in the chat.
I have
But
a
that
quick, super
Yeah,
quick question.
go ahead.
About bike traffic related projects that might already be underway, anything that's potentially included in some of the TIF projects. Along Western Boulevard, along 35th, are there any ongoing plans or anything that you all are looking at considering connectivity between 35th to the Western Boulevard and down all the way, to Garfield potentially, anything like that? I mean, these are major traffic zones, but they cross-cut through a lot of, potential areas that could be developed in the future. 35th being a major artery, Western Boulevard being that major artery, and you already pretty much have land that's open to be developed there on the boulevard. Are there any plans like that anyone has considered previously, or anything that has been thought about regarding Western Boulevard, especially through McKinley Park?
So in terms of, I'll go back to Archer Avenue. We want to see bike lanes along Archer. In terms of Western Boulevard, I don't know that there's anything underway as of now, but that's a great point, of course. Once we get into conversation or hear from Rolando in terms of what he's doing there on Western and Archer, I think we can kind of circle back in terms of how to bring that all together. I think there's a lot of work that can be done there on Western. And I'm sure that Juan could speak to that if he's back on, or.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for the question. In terms of the illegal and criminal, businesses, I see some chat going on. I don't know who from the ward office is getting some of this information. I know this is an ongoing issue, and I know Juan is also going to chime in on this, but I'm going to leave my email address here. So, Sammy works for the zoning department now, so he's not with our office, but Juan and I are happy to, quarterback, if you will, on these issues, and, get something done here. I mean, we're happy to do that with anyone. Being that I'm at City Hall, I work for the legislative office. I'm not on the ground all the time in the neighborhood. We have the ward staff there, but I can make my way down there at any point in time and meet with you all.
I've been raising these issues since last February, so we're going on. And so there's an uptick in drug activity because he can sell drugs all day long. So I don't know what type of businesses you're going to go around that when that's right. Really kind of the culture that's been allowed. For a year, I've been calling.
Okay. I don't have an answer in terms of, what's been happening on the ground or ongoing. But of course, I am happy to, get some answers for you. I have to pull up the file and see what's been done by the office. Obviously, Sammy was here in February, and I'm really not engaged on the business, the revocation of that. I'd have to ask BACP and others. But I hear you loud and clear. We have staff meetings weekly, so I will bring this issue up to the staff and see what's happening in terms of why nothing has been done. This is one of many. We were before when administrative hearings and the court was open, we would work pretty effectively to shut some of these businesses down in terms of illegal activity and whatnot. And obviously, there's no excuse, but there has been it's been an issue in terms of getting enforcement out. And that's the truth. So, but nonetheless, we will definitely keep working on it. I mean, in order for all this to work, right, we need to take care of these issued buildings. There's no other way.
Great.
Hey,
all right.
Liliana?
Yeah, Juan, we hear you.
I apologize. I was trying to get my audio on, so I can probably add a little bit to that. So Allison, I know you and I have talked over Zoom regarding that naughty and nice. So that we did refer it to Business Affairs and Consumer Protection. I forget if we mentioned this to you, but there is an ongoing case that they're investigating this, and they have there's a court date or administrative hearing date that, due to the pandemic, has been continues to be pushed back. I have to find out when the next administrative hearing date is for this business, but I think, so we went ahead and forwarded on to CPD, as well as you and the folks in the neighborhood have, and we've gotten it to administrative hearings. But on behalf of the alderman, I would ask that, we'll forward the community the date, but if the community can either write letters as witnesses to what has been taking place, or if they can go to the administrative hearings date and kind of say or represent the community, I think that would be very helpful in persuading the administrative judge to cite them and to possibly revoke their business license.
Okay, this is a great discussion, but I want to be respectful of everyone's time. I want to kind of circle back to something that Liliana mentioned about the streetscape and kind of the effort there. And I want to ask you, Jaime, first, and Allison. We've heard a little bit about what has drawn you to 35th Street. I want to kind of have you guys speak a little bit about what can be improved on 35th Street in terms of the pedestrian infrastructure, whether it's benches or patios or lighting or something that you think is necessary to increase foot traffic to not only your establishments but also future ones. So Jaime, if you want to go first.
Yes. ¿Alguien me puede traducir las preguntas? Liz.
Perdón. Lo que John estaba preguntando es si hay algunas cosas que podemos mejorar sobre la calle para atraer más gente. Entonces, la luz, cosas en el sidewalk, no sé en español cómo traducirlo, pero para realmente hacer un lugar donde la gente siente bienvenida, que quieren tomar tiempo ahí, pasar a los diferentes negocios, cosas así. No le escuchamos.
Anmuta. Aquí.
Los retos de Zoom.
¿Me escuchan?
Sí, ahora sí, gracias.
Ok. ¿Me escuchan?
Sí.
Ok.
Sí.
Ok, perfecto. Yo creo que podemos hacer mucho y yo creo que, bueno, a los negocios, todos los que estamos en la 35, yo creo que también jugaríamos un papel importante en pensar cómo es que traíamos la gente. Yo particularmente tengo muchas ideas en mi cabeza, tengo planes para el futuro y quizá, pues no sé, coordinados con pues el señor Alderman, podemos hacer muchas cosas. Mi visión es cómo adherir más negocios sobre los negocios existentes. Quiero decir, enfrente de, pues, en donde estamos nosotros, hay como unos 4 negocios vacíos. ¿Cómo invitaríamos a otros negocios a llegar aquí para atraer más gente? ¿Cómo haríamos, cómo la comunidad jugaríamos un papel importante en cómo hacer crecer pues las partes que están deshabitadas en este momento? Pienso yo, el plan en el futuro que tengo o que quiero pues considerar es un día ver quizás la 35 aquí por donde nosotros estamos, hasta la Ashland, quizás de Archer a Ashland, las calles con peatones, con tráfico de bicicletas, con plantas alrededor de las banquetas. A lo mejor es un proceso que no sé cómo hay que hacerlo, por dónde hay que dirigirnos. Vi al señor Manzano en su entrevista ahorita, quizás él nos puede ayudar de una forma, pues la señorita que creo que también trabaja con el Alderman, ¿correcto?
Correcto.
Entonces, Liliana, disculpa, ahora sé tu nombre.
No pasa nada, es ok.
Entonces, no sé si en las manos de alguien podemos canalizar quizás algún proyecto así, a lo mejor reducir el tráfico, no sé, algo tendríamos que quizás en el momento analizarlos todos. Yo soy nuevo en esta conferencia, me siento un poco nervioso, entonces no sé si mis opiniones sirven de algo, pero de cualquier manera, si pues es tomado en cuenta, yo creo que podremos ayudarnos unos con otros, la comunidad. Yo estoy dispuesto a ayudar a transformar en la manera que se tenga que hacer. Estoy dispuesto a ayudar en todo lo que sea necesario para poder ver crecer la 35 como cualquier otra calle. Estamos un poquito alejados, pero no estamos tan lejos. Yo creo que estamos muy cerca de llegarlo.
So Jaime sort of started with talking about that he's got lots of sort of dreams and thinking about what could happen on 35th Street. One of the first things that he's paid attention to is just inviting more businesses to come to the street. So for example, where Chile Toreado is, if you go to the sort of streets, to the buildings next to him, there's about 3 or 4 businesses that there's nobody there. They're just open storefronts, right? And so just like bringing more business in would be helpful. And then as you think more long-term, then how do we do something around the streetscape, making it more welcoming, having bike lanes so people can bike and then people can walk, and then there's, then there's the cars, trying to do something about the sort of the truck traffic and bringing that down would be helpful. He also wanted to point out that he's still new in terms of having a business in the neighborhood, so he's trying to learn. Thank you, Delilah. You are great putting some of that in there. So he's still trying to learn the neighborhood, but he thinks that if we all put our minds together, we could have a really sort of great vision for this. He talked about working with the alderman's office with Juan and Liliana to try to really make a plan that can develop the neighborhood. 35th Street may seem far to folks, but it's not that far. So we can make it a destination. Gracias, Jaime.
Gracias a usted.
Allison, in the last minute or 2 minutes.
We had concerns about the lighting, but luckily Eva and our owners, as part of our SBIF grant and upgrades, put in plenty of lighting in the building. But I think lighting on 35th Street is an issue. And my one thing I would really like that I've asked for in the past is a garbage can to keep it kind of cleaner. But absolutely, let's make it more pedestrian friendly and put benches out there and work with each other and support businesses and get people involved and, volunteering and just kind of making our community what it should be and what it deserves to be. It's great, but let's make it even better.
Great. I think that's a good place to end. So I want to thank Jaime and Allison for taking the time. If anybody's got further questions, feel free to email us at McKinley Park Development Council @gmail.com. We can certainly pass those along to either Allison or Jaime or the Alderman's office about things that we can do. I am going to share a survey for 35th Street. So if you guys can all fill that out, there will be a Spanish version. We've got it. I have to put it online. So that'll follow up, and I'll also send an email as well. All right. So if there's no other questions, in the last 5 minutes, I want to give Rolando a chance to talk about the Western Archer development, where the Starbucks and the gas station are going to go. So Rolando, go right ahead.
Good evening, everyone. I'll try to be quick. I just wanted to give you an update. We've made some changes to the site plan as a result of a community meeting we had a couple months ago and comments we received. I don't know if it's possible for me, John, to share my screen. If it is, I can show you. If not, I can describe it.
Yeah, we can make that happen. Liz, I'm not sure how to do that.
Rolando, while she's doing that, can you tell us a little bit?
Pardon me?
Well, while she's working on the permissions, can you tell us a little bit?
Yeah, I just sent you a note to be able to do it.
Great.
Rolando.
Pardon me?
I just sent you you should be getting something saying you've been invited to be a co-host. And once
Okay.
you have that responsibility, you can share all you want.
Okay. I'll wait for it to come in, and meanwhile, I'll answer the question. So this is the old Walgreens site that's been vacant for a number of years. Our client, vEquity, is proposing to buy it and buy out the Walgreens lease. Walgreens still has it under lease, and it was a lease that was sold, so they're like owner of the property that's basically collecting rent for nothing. So we're buying that out. The idea is to knock down the existing building, build a 7-Eleven that will have a gas station. I don't know if you've seen these a lot around town. It's a new model for 7-Eleven on the north end, and a Starbucks with a drive-through at the south end of the site. At the last meeting, we presented plans for this, and some of the comments were the building used to be kind of set back from the street with the parking lot fronting on Western. The request was to reverse that and put the buildings closer to Western and the parking lots further back. We've done that. We've also, there was a request for some outdoor seating areas associated with Starbucks and even the 7-Eleven, because the 7-Eleven will have a food component. They nowadays team up with some kind of restaurant. And I am, let's see if it does this. Hold on, because I think it's not letting me. I'll talk as if I walk, because if I go downstairs, I think I'll be able to do it.
If I may interject, were there any other alternative proposals for usage of that site?
Not really. They've talked to other potential tenants, but it's a little pricey because of the buyout of the lease. So, and then we're trying to get some stable tenants that are, national in scope to be able to fund this. And so this became the two most viable tenants. And let's see if this works.
Thank you.
Did that work?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Beautiful. So this right now is the plan. What you're seeing now is the plan, the former plan that was originally presented to the community. And you can see Western Avenue, the parking along Western, and the buildings kind of pushed back on the site. And then this is the new plan that moves the buildings closer to Western Avenue. And the area, the building on lot 1 is the 7-Eleven building. And to its east along Western will be an open space that can provide some seating. On the south, on lot 2, you see the retail building, which is a Starbucks. We've reoriented the drive-through in the building. So the building is now closer to Western, basically aligns with the 7-Eleven, about 20 feet back from the property line. It actually yielded better stacking and had the advantage of making the connection from the north to the south at the back of the site. So all the traffic can go back there. And to the extent that there's more stacking needed for the Starbucks, there's a place to put it other than it spilling out onto the streets. And then you can see sort of in a hashed area west of the Starbucks building, a patio that'll be enlarged to cover more of that, the paved area for the Starbucks here. What's not shown here, but if you could envision it, The entire frontage of this property will be landscaped with bushes, the ornamental fence, and trees. And in combination with the trees that exist on Western, you'll basically get a sidewalk that has greenery on both sides of it, which it will be a more attractive presence than right now, which is, for part of it at least, a vacant Walgreens building. I'm going to scroll quickly for those who didn't see the prior, but this is sort of existing conditions. I'll skip by it. I want to get to the elevations of the site so you get a sense of. So this is obviously the prior version of it, but you can see the landscape buffer along the street and along Archer, keeping the corner landscape area that exists today with obviously a different sign. This is an image from that corner showing the landscaping at the corner. And then this is more of a view. The buildings will be closer than they seem here, but this will show you that sort of the green area along Western Avenue. We need to rezone the property. This is just an elevations of the building. And if you've seen them, this is the prototype, new prototype 7-Eleven. The property on Western Avenue is actually zoned manufacturing, which is probably not the right zoning for this. So we need to rezone the property to authorize this and then secure 2 special uses, one for the gasoline function off the 7-Eleven and the other for the drive-through of the Starbucks. That's a quick summary, and I'm happy to answer questions or show you more.
Great. Rolando, I've got 2 questions and a comment,
Okay.
or a request, really. So putting on my professional biologist hat, the landscaping that you guys are proposing, can I just make a suggestion that those be native plants and not, ornamentals and, all kinds of invasives?
Sure.
And then I noticed in the rendering for the new site that there were two driveways on Western. One of them had, I'm going to call it a pork chop that restricts, only turn right in, onto Western. But the second one on the south end did not have one of those things. Is there a reason why people can turn left out of one but not the other?
I think, and I'm just going to go back to the site plan to be specific, and I call it a pork chop too, so I know totally what you're talking about.
Great.
So the pork chop one is closer to the intersection with Archer.
Okay.
And I think the fear would be back up closer to that light.
Okay.
Where the one that's further south by Starbucks, I'll call it, is far enough away that at least our traffic consultant felt that would be a suitable distance from the corner to allow for a left turn off of Western. I should say that this plan ultimately will be reviewed by CDOT. So, to the extent that CDOT believes that some of this is problematic or request changes, we'll have to change to accommodate.
Okay, great. And then my last question is there a plan to re-present this to the community outside of this meeting, or no?
Not that I'm happy to talk to anybody anytime.
Okay.
We're trying to, because it's a long process, even with the zoning approval. So we're trying to get the rezoning done, which sort of sets the base and changes the property from manufacturing to commercial, and then the special uses. This will take us probably through March, maybe even April. So I do have opportunities to continue talking with the community as you wish and take your comments. And I'm happy to do it.
Great. Thank you.
Rolando, I have another question. Would you refresh my memory? Was this the development where future use was restricted by past use, that there's a giant tunnel underneath, and so you really couldn't use it for manufacturing or anything that heavy again? Was this that property?
So it is that property. You could actually use it for manufacturing, but good memory. I actually still have the site plan on here, and you can see between the Starbucks building and the retail building, there's an area that's called easement that's shown in dashed lines.
Yeah.
That is a deep tunnel easement. You theoretically could build a manufacturing building on the north and parking on the south because you can park above it. What's kind of weird is, to be honest, the Walgreens sits on top of this. How they did that, I don't know. Because if you ever have to repair that deep tunnel sewer, Walgreens are still operating, you'd have to go through their floor to get there. But we're limited in the way we can configure the site because of that, because we have to keep that in what basically is parking area.
Yeah, that was my next question, because you basically turned the Starbucks 90 degrees in order to do this, yeah? And so there's
We did.
limitation in your spacing to, okay.
We did. It used to face north-south and was separate, more separate from Western, and we rotated it to go east-west and get it closer to Western,
Okay.
which is preferred by the city and was preferred by at least some commentators at our community meeting.
Great. Okay. Awesome. Well, I hate to cut this discussion short, but it is a little after 8. I want to be respectful of people's time. Rolando, if we get questions, are we able to email you?
Sure.
And okay, awesome. We'll do that. And then I do want to remind folks that our next meeting is on February 17th. It's at 7 o'clock. I don't anticipate it not being on Zoom, so we'll send out an email for that. That meeting will be TOD focused, so transit-oriented development focused, highlighting the intersection of Levitt and Archer. We currently have the developer for the southwest corner lined up to speak. So the southwest corner is the proposed 4-story building with the 2 or 3 commercial spaces on the first floor. And then I also want to extend the invite to the alderman's office as well to talk about the northeast corner where the Unique and now Dollar Store is, and kind of what's going on there and the development there.
At the next meeting, John, or
I'm sorry?
You want to discuss that at the next meeting? Or?
Yes, the next meeting, please.
Can I just give a quick update, because I think
yeah, sure.
Okay, thank you so much. So hopefully most of you saw a statement that was released in terms of this particular corner, a very important corner in McKinley Park. So some months back, a Family Dollar began operating. They didn't need to get any approval from the alderman's office or do any community engagement because of the zoning, which they had. And then we saw that there was some activity for the development of a Dunkin' Donuts, a drive-through, and obviously, that was a red flag. We had discussions. Juan and I had some brief discussions with the I think was a manager or an employee of the Dunkin' Donuts at one point. Never got to a place of discussion in terms of approval or anything like that. We informed them that there was a community driven process that we're really committed to engaging in. In short, they bypassed that and they went through the Zoning Board of Appeals and they put in their application. The Zoning Board of Appeals erroneously printed an agenda that said that this rezone was in a different ward. In short, that happened in September, and we're just finding out about it now. So we put a stop order, or we kind of revoked that construction permit, and we're making them go through this community process. So with that said, we are hoping to have a community meeting in the next couple of weeks. So I think it'll probably be before you guys meet again as a group. So look out for that. We'll let you know, John, so that you can inform everyone.
Perfect.
Again, they're going to present their project just like others have done. Again, we want to continue and be consistent with these projects, right? We want people to weigh in on them. As soon as the statement was released, we heard from residents that were concerned, obviously, about safety, and there was an accident right there on the corner. So there's no crosswalk. There's a number of issues that we have to kind of discuss before that. But with that, we want to encourage folks to get engaged, to give us feedback. This meeting, of course, will happen virtually again. And we hope to give other updates in terms of other projects. I think, John, you said that, the other developers for the TOD will present. We have another update on the affordable, the housing plan. We have an update for that plan as well. I think, I can go on forever on that plan, but in short, the developer got creative and found an alternative to make things work, and they're hoping to bring that to Plan Commission in February. So all of these things are happening pretty quickly. That's why we have to have a meeting in between all this so that we can inform the community of what's happening. With that said, we want the McKinley Park Development Council to be very vocal about some of these, matters, right? When you see that activity, since all of you, traffic that area and live in the community, if you see some of that happening and have concerns, please reach out to us. I think it's really important. Obviously, a drive-through there will have significant impact. And that corner, per the plan, was to be another TOD or a retail or mixed use. So we were a little disheartened when all that started happening without our office or without the engagement of you all. So let's continue to communicate. Let's continue to work together in terms of what we want to see there and another significantly important intersections.
Great, thanks, Liliana. And like I said, we'll touch base with all that. And once you guys get the announcement for your meeting out, we'll be happy to share that. And then, like I said, the invite's always there for your office to come and speak with our meetings as well. So I appreciate everyone's time. I know we went a little bit over, but I think we had some really good discussion. Like I said, fill the survey out, pass the survey around. Liliana, to echo Liliana, if you see something, say something. You can always email us at mckinleyparkdevelopmentcouncil@gmail.com. We're happy to answer questions, take questions, pass along information. If we don't know it, we'll find someone who does to get you the right what you want to know. So I want to thank you all again. Have a good night. We'll see you all on the 17th. Bye now.
Thank you.
Night.
Good night.
Bye. Thank you.